morning, search fans. How are we doing? It's raining. I think 2 days ago it stopped raining for about 19, maybe 20 minutes. So I think that was British summertime. I think that's it. It's done now. So we're back into autumn, I think, officially. Anyway, I've got a full tank of petrol in Sally Simplex. We're going to go off and find the source of that whiff of history. We're going to go and find it. You're coming too. See you on the first one. Yes. Okay, we have the first coin of the day. Quite deep down on the edge of a row. It's almost in the actual grass verge. It's a penny, obviously. Let's have a look. Is that young George? Hello, sir. There you go. Not exactly, well, you know, coin to coin. Can we see a year on that? 1916. WW1. Imagine what was going on in the world when this coin was in circulation. Don't bear thinking about. First coin. Let's find some more. Rain's getting heavy out. The penny's just come from there. So 3 paces away. There's my spade. Look at that. That's one of them trendy new ones. Look at that. Fantastic. We've got... Oh, I thought it was a halfpenny. My, that's very, very thin. I can't see anything of it. We'll give that a quick field clean. That might be quite old. I don't know if we can get anything of that. We'll have a quick look. I'll be back to you. Stay there. No, I can't see anything on it at the moment. You can see glints of the copper shining through. And it looks like it was folded at one point. Interesting. Might be able to get something off of that. I'm quite quietly confident. Might be able to make something out. Interesting. Coin number 2. Well, it hasn't really stopped raining, if I'm honest. But that's nice. We've had one of those before and we couldn't decipher it last time, but that's a bit clearer. Maybe we'll be able to get something from that. It's alright, isn't it? Crown and worthy writing. We'll have a look at that, shall we? That's quite nice. Raining a lot. In a tree. It got too heavy. We're having a big sudden downpour and it was supposed to clear up. It just hasn't. So I'm in a tree. I don't want to be in a tree. Don't like the rain. I'm pretty sure I'm soluble. Oh well, we'll stay here for a bit, have a cup of tea and see if we can crack on in a bit. As you can probably tell, I'm still sheltering under a tree, so I've just been through my scrap pile that I've found this morning so far. I found these 2. Now I don't know what that is. I'd put that straight in my pocket just so I put a tut. Got writing on it. B-O-L something N-D and P-O-L. Don't know what that is. I mean, it's the kind of thing you'd get on the side of a seal, but I don't think it's lead. So we don't know what that is. Now, do we reckon that this is a pendant of some kind? Because that edge is deliberate, and that edge is deliberate, as you can see. And is that old enamelling on there? Or is it just my eyes deceiving me? And I'm making do while I'm sheltering. Could be something, couldn't it? It just goes to show. Got to check it all before you chuck it all. Very good. Please stop raining now. I'm going a bit bonkers. Thank you. I've given in to the rain. I figure that if the sun comes out, I'll dry off pretty quick. Oh, it's a tiny little one, isn't it? That's nice. That never came with the pin. You used to thread the cords and everything just through that. That's nice, that's quite old. In the pouring rain. Happy days. Another coin, looks like a penny. I don't think it's been deliberately bent. I think that's probably been done by a bit of farm machinery in here at some point. It's quite a thin one. I don't think we get anything off of that. We'll have a look back at the ranch, but I'm not holding my breath. Looks like the rain's coming back, and I think that might be the end of me. Not literally. No, I don't think so. We'll try. We'll give it a clean. That's where the bent penny came from. And very next door to it, we've got that. That is the pin to it. Those three there. And they're closed down on it. Was that a bit of webbing, do we think? I don't think it's that old. Have a look. Oh, it's good, isn't it? I don't know what it is. But it's interesting, isn't it? I like it that way. Could it be that way? Could be that way. How interesting. No idea. Any ideas? Wow, it's old. Pretty cool. Just as the rain starts to come back down again, we have a hammered. It's one of them little copper tokens by the looks of it. I reckon I'll be able to make something out of that. Excellent. Come on, field. Want something outstanding. Excellent. Hammered. And all of that. Mystery. We have another mystery. We'll see what it's like when we clean it up. It's copper, it's very shiny. I don't know. Getting wet again. Woo! As you can probably hear, I'm judging by the colour of that sky, the rain's back, and the rain's back. It's not going anywhere. I mean, look at the rain's not going anywhere. I've got that much to do, and then I'm shooting all the way back down there because the bag is right down yonder, under that tree. It's hanging up under that tree that you can see, the big tall one. That one just there. Yeah, that's where my bag is. So I've got all that way to go. It's pouring down now, so I'm gonna tweak the sensitivity. I'm gonna turn it right up to max, turn everything up to max, and I'm just gonna coin shoot. I'm gonna run down for the last bit, 100 yards, and then all the way back up on that row, just coin shoot. I know the sound I'm looking for, and that's all I'm gonna do. If I find any, I'll let you know. If not, I'll see you back at the ranch when I've dried out a little bit. I'll just get wifey to ring me out for a little while. That sounded rude, wasn't supposed to. You know what I mean. Right, I'm about halfway back. There's a break in the clouds, so it's not actually raining. I've had a few artifacts out, but I caked in mud, absolutely caked. You can see the machine, everything is all slimy and filthy, so I haven't been able to film much. So while there's a little gap, possibly a little Roman, might even be a button, I don't know yet. Until I clean it up, it's all covered in mud. We'll put that straight in my pocket. Coin, don't know what. That's, yes, that just sums it up. Another coin. I'll clean it up and talk about it back at the ranch. Watch guys, back at the ranch, we're going to have a run through some of the things that we found. To be fair, we didn't know what a lot of it was at the time because it was so muddy, it was so sticky. I didn't even have any grip by the end of the day. I was sliding all over the place. So a lot of this was just chucked straight into my finds bag, as is, all covered in mud, and I didn't know what it was until we got back and sorted it all out. One of the first things we found, 1916 penny, 1916, Battle of the Somme, a year when
most of Europe was declaring war on the other bits of Europe, and everyone was fighting with each other. Didn't get anything off the copper coin. Could be anything. There's a shadow of writing around there that you could try and decipher, but I gave up, to be fair. I thought that was a coin towards the end, but it's not. It's a little inscribed button. Something fancy written on there. I think it's an L and a D, I think, which is, again, my initials. Little Victoria Halfpenny. There she is. Hello, Mom. Copper token. Shield on one side. And I think it says ML or WL on the other side. There it is. WL, you can just see, which I think we've narrowed it down so far. It's a work in progress, but we've narrowed it down to William Lond, I think is how you pronounce his name. And he's one of them Essex fellows. He may be orange, we don't know. The militaria, Royal Artillery button. We always get the Royal Artillery buttons these days, don't we? This one doesn't want to stay in my hand. It's very nice. So that's a pre-1800s Royal Artillery button. A couple of webbing buckles, nothing exciting there. This we've actually traced to the Royal Horse Guards, which is nice. I mean, that's in lovely condition. It's still got the loop and everything else. That can go straight on your card if you wanted to. It's a Royal Horse Guards button, and they weren't officially called the Royal Horse Guards until 1877, so it's post 1877. Absolutely no idea. Absolutely no idea. Bit of lead. Looks like a filter or something, I would have thought. And this is quite interesting. What do we think that is? Absolutely no idea. I mean, that could have come out the mind of one of these science fiction writers, couldn't it? I mean, I do not know what it is. Section of a buckle? I honestly do not know. Anyone's got any ideas, please let me know. Blank plate. And this, I think this is what it's just a suspension mount, I think. And look at that, look, you can just about make the pretty pattern on that. That's nice and decorated. It doesn't open out, it's folded over. Don't actually know. Nice though. And last but not least, I thought that was a penny. It's not, it's a button. You can just make out on the little star on the inside. You see that? That's quite fancy, quite dandy. But not as dandy as this. Look at that. And that's what they call a dandy button. And I think we should go and have a chat about that. Yeah, let's go and have a talk about that. Come on. Right, this, as you see, a rather fancy, once silver plated, dandy button. Now, dandies were a group of gentlemen who were around in the late 1700s, 1770, 1780. They all used to hang around. I think they started at Oxford University, kind of. That was the trend. And they all hung around the Prince Regent, who went on to become George IV, because his dad was the one that had the health issues. They were always powdered, big powdered wigs, and perfumed and freshly, always super clean shaven, and you know, they were immaculately dressed and everything else. So much so that William Pitt, who was the Prime Minister at the time, needed to raise some money for all his wars with France that were ongoing, that he taxed hair powder to try and make, because it was so popular and they wanted to make some money. So the poorer dandies didn't want to be seen to be poor, but the poorer dandies ended up dipping their wigs in flour. There was a bad harvest that year, so the flour became really expensive as well. Yeah, so they were preening, and they were pomp and ceremony, and you know, I mean, the most famous one is one called George Brummel in English history, and he was known as Beau Brummel. I'll put some caricatures of him at the end. Now, he was just a chap. He was famous just for being famous, you know, like a Kardashian, to all intents and purposes. He was one of the first Kardashians. had no discernible talents. He didn't do anything. He was just a man about town, a face about town, a clothes horse, and everything was always immaculate. I mean, they used to have the breeches that used to come up to there, and then they used to have the waistcoats to there, and long tails and stuff, and they always had big shirts, not ruffs, because ruffs are gone, the ruffs are out there with the Tudors, but they used to have big starched collars, so all of this was all perfectly starched linen, and the dandy buttons were on the collars, and down the side of the tunics, and on the waistcoats. Different ones they used to have, so you had silver ones down there, a couple of gold ones there, and pearl ones, flash. That was the end of it. Now Beau Brummell, or George Brummell, was he inherited £30,000 from his father. £30,000. This is 1770. £30,000, which by today's money is around 6 million. Blew the lot on clothes and pomp. He liked to drop, and he ended up running away from his. He blew the whole lot. He went bankrupt, and he had people chasing him for money and else. So that's 6 million wasted on clothes and things like that. And he ended up running away to France and hiding in a mental asylum until his death. So there you go. That's the Dandies. That's a dandy button. They're a very short-lived phenomenon, which is probably just as well because people couldn't really afford it in those days. You know, half the country didn't eat, but these people were so rich and so pomp that they even had their own hair powders taxed to raise money. So there you go. So when we talk about dandy buttons, that's who they were. I'll put a picture up, and I'll show you the pictures of Beau Brummell from the day. Alright, cheers for watching, see you all on the next one, stay safe, there you go.